You say this is a smash. I'm going to run out and smash my button while you talk about Ramondre Stevenson.
I don't think the Bengals defense is one that you should be fearful of. I think they're middle of the pack. You know, they've lost the Bateses and some of those guys over the years that you used to fear. They got a lot of young kids in there who have some talent. But at the same time here, I do expect Ramondre to be a guy that is going to revert back to what he did a couple years ago.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Everyone had him Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Eberflus Coach of the Year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be a success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play is there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
This would have been a bet that I would have lost big on in terms of betting on Trevor Lawrence thus far. Because, Vinny, I thought he was an absolute rock-solid, can't-miss first overall pick.
They're underachieving a bit. I mean, I don't think this is the best adjustment team with Doug Peterson. He's not the best adjuster. If everything's kind of falling into place and everyone's executing well and he can just do what they want to do.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day when all the action starts, and we have a whole bunch of fun for the next 2 glorious hours right here on a terrific money-making Tuesday, crazy Tuesday. Wow, holy fudge. We got coaches getting fired. We got general managers getting fired. We got our new college football playoff that came out. At least the rankings anyway, that came out about 10, 15 minutes ago. We'll go over that. We got pretty good college basketball game, got a little college football, got a great NBA game with the Celtics and the Cadavers, and a decent little start to the hockey for one Connor McDavid, if you're on his goal-scoring prop, because he has not 1, not 2, but 3 already, Mr. Sharapan. What's going on, my friend?
Great to see you, sir. Yeah, we're coming off the Friday show, which we'll recap at the last segment of the second hour with these opposite picks. It's a trend that's just, I mean, I don't know what award it won, but that segment is winning every single week. It's unbelievable what you're doing with that. Tonight, yeah, I think we're going to have to defend the Big Ten some more, because the Big Ten game of the week this week is Indiana and Ohio State, and nobody's giving Indiana a shot. And if they lose, they're out. If Penn State trips up at Minnesota and loses, they're out. Everybody's out in the Big Ten, although Oregon is now in the Big Ten championship and there's all these games left to play. It's all very confusing, Wetzel. But yes, Cleveland Cavaliers are 15-0. It's the quietest 15-0 I've ever heard of anything. Winners bet on streaks, losers bet against streaks. A wise man once told me that, continues to say it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on the SportsGrid. And this is one of those ones. I think this is the night to bet against them. You know it has to come to an end. The last time they lost, Ranieri just told me on Game Time Decisions, was Game 5 against said Boston Celtics.
Yeah. I liked them tonight. You know, I bet them. I was doing a little hit with Ranieri as well, and they got up to a slow start, 12-4. Right? It's amazing. You know, you hem and haw over a half a point, 6.5. And then it's like 2 minutes into the game, it's 12-4, and the line jumps to 10.5. You know, all that hemming and hawing you did, right? And you got yourself 4 extra points if you just waited. So that's what I did. I like betting on teams that got eliminated by the team they're facing the year before the postseason. I think all the motivation is on the team that lost. In this case, they are 15-0, so I'm sure the Celtics will be up for this game. No two ways about it. But listen, Cleveland's a good team. And don't forget, that was a wounded cadaver team. No Donovan Mitchell. Missed a couple of games in that series. So
when you see this Cleveland Cavaliers orange and blue, who do you think of? Because we got, producer Matt in the background said Brad Daugherty. Mark Price was my guy. Craig Elo was one, right? Like, who do you think of when you see this Cavs stuff?
Yeah, I would say Price. I always liked him. Okay. A little point guard out of Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Beyond LeBron, beyond before him. So, I think of Mark Price. Yeah, they had some good teams. They some real good teams. Daugherty, should have beat the Bulls. Elo with the Jordan jumper.
Oh my!
So
that was tough.
I kind of like them. Before LeBron, believe it or not. So
I drove up from Pittsburgh. I was living in Pittsburgh, and Michael Jordan was playing, and I said I got to see Michael Jordan play. And I went up to the Richfield Coliseum, dragged my mom up. I said, "We're going to see Michael Jordan play," and she's like, "What are you talking about? Get in the car, let's go." Took a ride up, got seats, saw Jordan play. That Richfield Coliseum was out in the middle of a forest. I mean, there was nothing around it. It was bizarre, but we got tickets and drove back. I loved it, and been a big fan since. Plus, NBA Jam, Daugherty and Price was the two-man team on that game. That was the game that got me through college. Played a lot of that. I'm getting DMs right now from people watching the show. Mel Turpin. How about that? What a call that is. The Mel Turpin, Dinner Bell Mel, they called him. Wow, that's strong.
Don't remember that nickname, but okay. I believe it.
That's him. That was Dinner Bell Mel. Yeah.
Big
you were immersed in New York stuff. So you missed a lot of the Cleveland stuff.
Cleveland is down, I will say 17. 65-48, which means, by the way, another Celtic halftime over hits.
First half over.
It was 59.5 tonight. Man.
I said it earlier to Peralt on Boston University book. Oddsmakers are sleeping. All right. The game total closed in this game 235, pretty much 234.5 in some places. And the first half total was under 60. Just sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes odds makers make mistakes too. That was good. The trend was there. Celtics, what does that say? 0-4 against the spread at home? 5-0.
They lost their last four.
Cleveland? Oh, my. So you think Cleveland got a shot at coming back?
I do. I think that, Celtics, they're a great team to bet against. You got to, put reasons behind this stuff. Who knows why, but take advantage of it, right? Celtics, they play great first half. Every first half, the game is going over their total. If not going over, they're pretty darn close to it. So don't take the 6.5. Wait for it to get to halftime if you have that luxury, or at least, second quarter, and you get yourself a whole slew of points. Second half, that's when things come back to the pack for the Celtics. So I don't doubt for a second. They're up 17.
It's 15
they're
and a half.
All celebrating, all giddy in the locker room. They may win, but I got a strong hunch that Cleveland's going to make a run somewhere along the line. I would take the 14.5 right now.
Yeah, I got 15.5 here, so it might be worth a shot.
Even better.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. What about the other games? Did you see anything that jumped out at you these early starts?
Not so much with the NBA. Hockey, definitely. No. But I did play the under Brooklyn and Charlotte. The Nets or the Hornets. NBA best 9-4 under this season, which is opposite of what they were like last year. So not that they were winning last year, but they're off to a 37-23 start over the Nets. God, the Nets are just awful, right? Then the over-under is right around where it was, 223. It was 221 where I got it. So it's basically the same number. Get yourself a couple of extra points. But I did like the under on that. I was going to say Embiid, but no Joker for Denver tonight. Memphis going for their 7th straight cover, laying 6, though. It's a big number at home.
Number got out of control. It was overnight. It was 3.5. Wake up today, and it moves to 6. And I'm like, either Murray, Joker, somebody's not playing. Yeah, you can see the board from the line movement and know the injury report before actually seeing the injury report. I don't know. That might be a little bit too much. I mean, this game's this is not a blowout, right? This is not, when you win by more than 3 baskets in the NBA, I don't want to say I consider that a blowout, but anything that's 8 or more is a blowout, in my opinion, right? They're going to cover this, I guess. I have no opinion.
They've covered 6 in a row. They beat Denver, what was it, last week? They crushed them. So, no, they didn't. Okay, Ranieri told me that, but no, Joe was wrong. But they've lost 2 in a row. Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, 105-90. My bad. On Sunday, they lost. So this is one of those goofy back-to-back, in Memphis twice type of games that the NBA is doing a lot more.
Is your laptop plugged in? Are you wired in tonight for everything? I just want to make sure. I can't have this thing going off on. You got to check scores. Are you wired in tonight? Good.
I forgot. You know what? I did forget. I put it in the wrong plug. So I'm just trying not to move. I don't want to touch anything. I don't want to breathe too heavily. Otherwise, my computer will be shut off.
Got 2 hours to do.
I got the Jinx plug. Or coming up.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
You say this is a smash. I'm going to run out and smash my button while you talk about Ramondre Stevenson.
I don't think the Bengals defense is one that you should be fearful of. I think they're middle of the pack. They've lost the Bateses and some of those guys over the years that you used to fear. They got a lot of young kids in there who have some talent. But at the same time here, I do expect Ramondre to be a guy that is going to revert back to what he did a couple years ago.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
In the last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Everyone had him rookie of the year, offensive player of the year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Eberflus coach of the year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play's there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
This would have been a bet that I would have lost big on in terms of betting on Trevor Lawrence thus far. Because, Vinny, I thought he was an absolute rock-solid, can't-miss first overall pick.
They're underachieving a bit. I mean, I don't think this is the best adjustment team with Doug Peterson. He's not the best adjuster. If everything's kind of falling into place and everyone's executing well and he can just do what they want to do.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave just getting underway. Full hour and 45 minutes plus going over all the games. Do want to bring up, though, Dave, we touched on it there for a second. College football playoff rankings just came out literally before the show began, about 5-10 minutes or so before the show began. So I guess the biggest thing is that Boise State is now, the perception has always been SEC, Big Ten, Big 12, and the ACC get the top 4, and then the best of the other conferences get the number 5 automatic bid. That's not the case. It's the top 4 conference teams that are ranked, those leaders. So it doesn't necessarily have to be those 4 conferences. So in this case, Boise State leapfrogs the Big 12 leader, BYU, because they lost. So now the Mountain West leader, Boise State, is in a position to get a bye. That's where I kind of take the biggest thing out of this, which to me tells me that Boise State now controls its own destiny, unless they can kind of go back on that. So Boise State wins the Mountain West, they're going to get a bye, or can a Big 12 team leapfrog them, do you think?
I don't know, but I think, Boise State's going to play in the Mountain West Championship, and it could be against UNLV, but we already saw that game, and Boise won. The game is here again. I believe it might be at the home. It might be at a home field. Whoever gets the best top seed gets a home game. Yeah, Boise in makes sense. The Big 12 is a mess. They get one. I think
they
at
might
this
not get
point,
any.
Well, they got to get one. The Big 12 gets the champion in. Right.
Well, they had that written in that the Big 12 gets one. Doesn't have to be a top 4. Okay, so they're going to get one.
Yeah. So they're going to get one. But odds-wise, right there, that's actually, I believe, boys, that's the basketball. I think that's the basketball championship. Those are good basketball teams. Yeah, those aren't good football teams. Not all of them. So anyhow, we have to look at Iowa State is still in it somehow. Colorado is the team to beat in the Big 12. They're a 3-point favorite at Kansas. They might lose that game. We just saw BYU lose to Kansas. BYU's a 3.5-point dog to Arizona State. I don't know. The Big 12 could end up right. They could lose that too. So I don't know. The bracket is fun. It's fun to talk about. It all doesn't matter if Indiana beats Ohio State, everything's going to change a lot.
You think? Would Ohio State drop out? Is that possible? 2 losses against the 2 best teams in the conference. Really haven't beaten anybody else.
They'll need help to get in.
See that.
They'll need help. They'll need help to get in. They're the odds-on favorite right now to win it all. The odds-on favorite in a lot of books, Ohio State, to win it all. Yeah,
they could lose. Depending, you buy into Indiana, right? They're getting 11.5, by the way. Pretty good number. I mean, the 2 things. One is if Ohio State were to lose, and let's say, 24-17, 24-10. So, realistically, they're not going to get blown out at home, right? But a solid Indiana win with Ohio State with its second loss and no other really great. Well, they beat Penn State. They did beat Penn State. So would they fall so far with 2 losses? And then conversely, how bad does Indiana have to lose by to still be in the top 12? If they lose 30-10, are they done?
They're out. I think they're out. And I'm not saying it's fair. I just think the way it's playing out, Indiana's going to have a tough time getting back in if they get blown out. And blown out by more than 2 touchdowns. 31-17 with a touchdown late to win by 14. Okay, that's something. But if they get blown out by more than 14, there's going to be talk that they're going to have a really good bowl game to go to, and it's not the college football playoff. I'm not saying I disagree, but what?
How about this conspiracy, right? Ohio State wins by 1 on a bad call, they're in, right? So they don't care about how much they win by. We're not talking James Franklin here, right? So they're not worried about covering the spread like your boy does. How about Ohio State leads 28-14. 3 minutes left, and they got the ball at the Indiana 30-yard line.
Okay.
And then they signal over to Indiana. Whoa, guys, we're going to take a knee. There's 4 minutes left. That's okay. We're going to take a knee for you because we want you in the playoff because we get more money as a conference if we get 4 teams in the playoff, and that means we get more money if you get in. We score a touchdown here and win by 3 TDs. You got no shot to get in Indiana, so we're going to throw you a bone. Let us take a knee. We'll get a first down on 4th down. We'll fall down. We'll take 4 more knees, and we'll both walk off the field happy. Could happen.
I really don't know how long your train ride is into the studio and how long you have to think about all of these crazy things. But I am glad I put the listening glasses on for that one, because that is one of the most ridiculous things you've ever said to me on this show.
It's putting more money into the conference if they get another team. Why wouldn't they do that? Why not?
They're not doing that. They're playing football. They're trying to keep them out of it.
Why? 28-14, are they in? Probably. 35-14, are they in? Probably not. So why wouldn't Ohio State do everything in its power to help Indiana?
I don't know.
Especially if it means keeping Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss, a really good football team out. They don't want those teams in.
I want to see the best 12 teams play. I just want to see hopefully we get first weekend, 3 of the 4 games are great. The other one is because it's going to be a mismatch. The second weekend, we should get 4 really good games, 3 outstanding, 1 probably dud. And then the next 2 games will be excellent. And the championship game, who knows? Just root for good. What are you always with these conspiracy theories for?
All I'm telling you, you mark it down right now. I don't want to hear anyone whining on Twitter, whining on Xbox or wherever else about how, Ohio State only won by 10 because they elected to take 5 knees late in the game. That's all. That might be.
Your main event, Tale of the Tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
That lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round 1 halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
He's in trouble! And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
All right, welcome in. It's back, and welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1 of our 2-hour extravaganza. We got the coach, Coach James Young, coming up in about 5 minutes. We'll do some NBA and college basketball talk with him. We got a nice little top 25 matchup between Purdue and Marquette that he's got a great angle on. So we'll get to all that stuff. First up, though, little SGP same game parlay time. All right, tough slaying here with some of these games in the NBA. Some monster numbers. Hard to lay double digits, no matter what the competition is. But we're going to do it tonight. We're going to go with the Lakers minus 11 at home. We'll start there against the Utah Jazz. Jazz are just awful. Lakers are 5-1 against the spread at home, so they play their better ball. They got a lot of these mediocre players that don't perform nearly as well on the road. They're a classic, good home, mediocre on the road team. So start with the Lakers laying 11. I think we're going to get a ton of points. Minus 235.5 is your total on that one. Going to go LeBron James, 8+ assists. He averages around 9.5. This is slightly below his number, but that's okay. We'll do that. Then we're going to go with Lauri Markkanen for Utah, 20+ points. Someone's got to score for the Jazz. I don't think anyone's playing any defense for the Lakers. He's their best guy. And then Cam Reddish, over 5.5. Now, it is now 4.5. I just double-checked. He stinks. I get that, but he's going to get plenty of ice time, as the saying goes in hockey, because the Lakers should be leading by 20+ in the fourth quarter. That means Cam Reddish is going to be on the court. That means he should get over his 4.5 or 5.5, whatever number you happen to get it at. So, and that's going to boost this parlay up. So, Lakers over Lakers. James, 8+ assists. Reddish, 5.5 points. And Markkanen 20 or more for Utah. Now, when I put it in, it's kind of weird. When I put it in this afternoon, it was $13.98. Literally 2 seconds later, it dropped to plus 1260. So I don't know if they had a goof when I put mine in, but it's right around 12.5 or so to 1 right now.
All right.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
What's the one that you're most concerned about? I mean, the Lakers are winning the game. You think they could not cover. All right. The total, I don't know. I guess if you don't get a willing participant in Utah, it doesn't go over. But which one of those props are you most concerned about?
Maybe the over. The Lakers could win 130 to 100 because Utah stinks and it doesn't go over the 235.5. So that's a lot of points for a bad team. That would be the one. I think the Lakers do end up covering, but that would be the one. LeBron will get 8 assists. Markkanen will get 20 points. Reddish is going to get a whole lot of playing time. So he averages 4.5 anyway. So it would be the over, a lot of points. Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. That's a late start. That's a 7:40 Pacific start, 10:40 Eastern p.m. Are you going to be up for the conclusion of that basketball game? Make a line on that.
Probably. I'm usually up to around 1:30, depending on what's going on in the household, how late dinner. Maybe if I got a couple shekels on it. If my hockey plays are doing well, then I'll put more on that. So, and that determines whether I'm up at night. Yeah. I love the hockey board tonight, I must say. And so far, so good. Pinch myself in that Edmonton pick 'em tonight against Ottawa. Pick 'em against the Ottawa stinking Senators? McDavid a hat trick already, 4-1 Edmonton. You want to give me that at pick 'em? Yeah.
Penguins up 2-0. Did you like anybody in the Stanley Cup preview? Panthers Jets, big hockey game tonight.
Yeah, I didn't. I stayed away from that one, believe it or not, just because I like some of the others. But Winnipeg lost 2 in a row. I was going to say, is this the beginning of not the end, but is this the end of their great run?
Right. Yeah. Florida, they're such a different team. I mean, it's a contrast in styles, 1 over, 1 under. I was leaning over. We got no score through first 10 minutes. So we got to get going, get some goals there. That one's already down. Minnesota's still tied 0-0 against St. Louis. 7 minutes to go there. How do you not like Minnesota in that spot? That one's tied.
They just scored.
What else did you like? I mean, there's
Minnesota.
We'll get to coach.
Minnesota just scored.
Okay. We'll get to the basketball coach, but talk more hockey later. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, you ready for this one? I'll throw you this one real quickly. I'm not sure what time this one starts, but later on, I guess. Anaheim at Chicago. Let's start about 5 minutes. Anaheim, 11-5-1 under. Chicago, 10-5-3 under, including 5 in a row, and both have the second fewest goals in the league at 43. How's that getting 7 goals? Love the under. Coach coming up next.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
Well, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on a terrific Tuesday. Scott and Dave for another hour and a half or so. Turning our attention to the hardwood, little college basketball, little NBA, where Coach James Young joins us. And then Coach Drama in a little pop quiz for most people out there. If you said, who do you think would be in last place towards the end of November in the Eastern Conference? You might guess Washington, right? I don't know how many people would guess the Philadelphia 76ers, but that's where they stand, 2-11, tied with Washington for the worst record in the Eastern Conference. And now we got even more drama with the 76ers with the dreaded players-only meeting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a players-only meeting after their loss. I think they lost by like 14 last night, and it's just a team that can't get out of their own way. I mean, obviously you look at the fact that Paul George and Joel Embiid, both didn't start the season playing. Joel Embiid has come back. He looks like a shell of himself. I would argue this, okay, and people have to understand this. Joel Embiid was compromised last year in the playoffs. He was absolutely compromised. So what does he do? He goes and he plays for the Olympic team, which I get it. France and USA were fighting over his services. If I'm Philadelphia, I'm pissed off that he didn't sit out. I mean, the Clippers got Kawhi to sit out. The Warriors didn't let Andrew Wiggins play for Team Canada. So now this Philadelphia 76ers team that I thought was going to be near the top of the Eastern Conference is 2-11. And it's simply put, the fear with Philadelphia was, could they stay healthy? Well, the problem is this. Not only are they not healthy, they're not healthy mentally because now you have Tyrese Maxey. And I want to say this, folks. Kudos to Maxey because there's been rumors for years that Joel Embiid is lazy. He doesn't take things seriously. He flops around. He makes, crutch, gestures during games. Someone had to call him out. And thank God this kid did it. It should have been Daryl Morey. Wasn't. It should have been Nick Nurse. Wasn't. So it's Tyrese Maxey. So we're going to see a lot of we're going to know what Joel Embiid is made of. Is this Joel Embiid, the top 5 player in the NBA? Or are we going to get Joel Embiid, like someone told me, the Joel Embiid will be like the Shaq in Phoenix. And if you don't remember Shaq in Phoenix, it's probably because it wasn't very good.
It wasn't good. Yeah, that wasn't good. It wasn't like cornbread. Cornbread was good back in the day. We know about that. All right. There's 3 games tonight, JY. Big spread, and bigger spread. I know, we call Kurtz Captain Chalk. He likes the favorites. Dallas, Oklahoma City, and the Lakers. Any one of them losing a game outright tonight, or are they all winning, or is any one of them not covering tonight? What do you think?
I think the team that's got the least chance of covering is actually the Lakers. I think that spread is really, really big. I think they win. Don't get it mistaken. But they can get into a situation where they can be in a cold shooting night, and they could turn around and they could not cover the spread. When you go and you look at the trends here, you got to look at Utah. Has had some close games. Remember, they beat Dallas by 2. They were in a game at Sacramento. I know no DeRozan, no Sabonis. They just barely missed out on covering the spread by half a point versus the Clippers. They've been close. So I think this is a big spread for a Laker team that is wildly inconsistent. Now, the better way for me to play this game is 2 of my best bets come from this game, guys, and they come from the points angle. I'm going to look at Colin Sexton over 15.5 points. He's gone over 4 of the last 5 games, last 2 games versus Lakers, and you guys notice they don't have strong perimeter defenders on that team. Colin Sexton can get loose and get you 16-plus points. The other one has been part of the reason why the Lakers has been wildly inconsistent, and that's Rui Hachimura. His points prop is at 11.5 points. And what are we going to get, guys? Are we going to get good Rui or are we going to get bad Rui? Because when you think about good Rui Hachimura, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in his first 5 games, he went over this number, right? He got to double figures every single time. And I think he had a couple of games in which he dropped, 18 to 20 points. Actually, 3 of his first 5, he did that. Then he went through a stretch, guys, where he went 5 straight games of not getting double figures. But then last game, 6 or 7 from the floor, 3 or 4 from 3, 19 points, 11.5. If you load up on AD and LeBron, and you think that who could be that next guy, because D'Angelo Russell sucks, to me, Rui Hachimura over 11.5 points tonight.
All right. Before we get to the college books, I know you like the Marquette game. Thoughts on Cleveland? Here come the Cadavers down, 20-plus? What did we say, Dave? I told you, bet Cleveland second half, bet Boston first half, the opposition second half. It's down to a 4-point game, Coach. One's getting 14.5. It's now 6.5, 84-80. Boston, late third quarter, leading. Your thoughts on that game from here on out?
Well, I think the thing is the ability to defend the 3-point line, guys. If you look at it, Boston's shooting 18 for 30 from 3, and Cleveland's shooting 7 of 21. Cleveland's been one of the best shooting teams in the NBA, particularly from 3. And what you've gotten is you've gotten right now Donovan Mitchell kind of not having a Donovan Mitchell night. Now, here's the thing, folks. What they've done, Scotty, is Donovan Mitchell is less shot volume, and they become more about a team, right? He's not trying to overdo it. Well, he's 5 of 16 from 2 overall, and Garland's 2 of 16. So if you would have told me, okay, that those 2 guys would be 7 for 32, and you're down 6 late in the third quarter, if you're Kenny Atkinson, you run with this. Because if they get rolling at some point, they'll knock a couple of threes down. I think it was smart. I took Boston minus the points, minus 5.5, but I don't blame you for thinking Boston jumps out early because they want to make a statement to show that they're the best team in the NBA and not Cleveland, and Cleveland will adjust at halftime. And that's exactly what's happened in this game. Should be a good game down to the finish.
All right, throwing it down to you low down in the box. All right, take it to the hole. You got a minute, 30 seconds or so. Tell me why you like Marquette.
I think when you look at Marquette, number one, they're playing at home. Okay, I know that that Purdue's coming off a big win, but that was at home, right, versus Alabama. I look at the guard play. I think guard play is going to be key here. I also think even though Alabama is better this year, they're not good defensively traditionally. Shaka Smart's got the guard play, and Cam Jones has really stepped up his game, but the fact that he is now the lead guy. Remember, he was a 2-guard next to Coley. I think Jones, those guys, Joplin, I think it's just enough. Now the spread's a little heavy. It's moved. It's gotten up to like 5.5. I was hoping it was be more in the 3.5 range. So if you want to take them live or take them now, take them now. Otherwise, game start, let it come down to about 3.5, and then definitely jump on Marquette. I think they win a close game, but a 2-possession game.
High scoring game. I kind of like the over. What do you think? Any thoughts on that?
I think Shaka's gonna drag this thing to a crawl. They're gonna lean on their defense, and this game screams under to me because Purdue has been pretty good defensively. Also, watch out for Kaufman-Wren. He's been really, really good. People talk about Lawyer and they talk about Smith. Kaufman-Wren has really been the one to step up, particularly losing the freshman Jacobson to an injury for the rest of the year.
JY, 5 seconds. Do you like the NBA Cup?
I love it. I love it.
Really?
I think it's the best thing I've done in a long time.
How about the courts?
Can you
Can't tell me you
stay?
like the courts.
Can you stay for another couple minutes to explain why? We'll leave the. Oh,
my
this is
guys!
great news.
What is 3-man weave?
Yes, sir.
All right, more for the coach coming up.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
You say this is a smash. I'm going to run out and smash my button while you talk about Ramondre Stevenson.
I don't think the Bengals defense is one that you should be fearful of. I think they're middle of the pack. You know, they've lost the Bateses and some of those guys over the years that you used to fear. They got a lot of young kids in there who have some talent. But at the same time here, I do expect Ramondre to be a guy that is going to revert back to what he did a couple years ago.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
As their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Everyone had him rookie of the year, offensive player of the year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Eberflus coach of the year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be a success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play is there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
This would have been a bet that I would have lost big on in terms of betting on Trevor Lawrence thus far. Because, Vinny, I thought he was an absolute rock-solid, can't-miss first overall pick.
They're underachieving a bit. I mean, I don't think this is the best adjustment team with Doug Peterson. He's not the best adjuster. If everything's kind of falling into place and everyone's executing well and he can just do what they want to do.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day. Scott and Dave talking to the coach, Coach James Young, a little NBA. And Dave, you last left off with the coach about how he likes, apparently, the President's Cup, which I just hate. But, all right, your floor, Coach. Explain why you're buying into this nonsense.
The President's Cup, isn't that golf?
The NBA Cup. You knew what he meant. You knew what he meant.
Whatever. President. I don't even know the name of it, and I hate it. Yeah, President's Cup, NBA Cup.
Wendy Boulder up there in Boston there. So listen, when you talk about this, there's a couple of reasons why I like this NBA Cup. Number one is I think they did a really good job of picking the days, right? Going Tuesday, Friday. You're not competing. You weren't going to beat Monday Night Football. You weren't going to beat Thursday Night Football. So go on nights where you got some action or a random ACC game on a Friday night. So I'm all for the nights of the week they're doing it. Number two, to me, it gets guys to value the regular season, to get people to buy in early. Now listen, I don't like the courts. I know why they have the courts, because when you see that ugly, whatever, like the Crayons got into a fight with the court and they won. Yeah, but I know I'm watching an NBA Cup game. But the bigger thing is this: you get to see these young teams and get these young coaches to really buy in and trying to get what they can out of their team. So if you would have told me, guys, in Group B with Milwaukee, Miami, Indiana, Toronto, that the Detroit Pistons would be 2-0, well, that's good for JB Bickerstaff, because he's trying to build the culture winning. Guys, they're not making the playoffs. I mean, come on, there's no way in hell. And if you guys would pull up the Group B standings really quick, listen, in the East, they're favored to win it. They're coming out of Detroit. Now, I don't know if they do it or not, but I think it's important. You go to Group C, right, in the East. Atlanta's 2-0. Now, granted, Cleveland could be 2-0 or 1-1, depending after this, but Atlanta's got to win over Boston. Like, this is an Atlanta team that I didn't think was going to be much about this year, especially losing DeAndre Hunter early and trading DeJounte Murray for not enough. Then you go to West Group A. Portland beats Minnesota. Not only did they beat Minnesota on Wednesday, they beat them on Thursday or Tuesday. They beat them Tuesday, Wednesday, back-to-back in Portland. Well, I don't think they're winning the group, but them. The Rockets, who I loved in Group A, because I think that team came on late last year, right? They missed the playoff. If you're Ime Udoka, get the winning culture going. So to me, getting these young teams, getting them to play well early on, getting them something to gravitate to, try to win, and then you try to ride the momentum, guys, like an Indiana team.
Okay, all right.
Much of go all the way to the NBA Cup Finals, and look how they went all the way to Eastern Conference Finals this past year.
I hear what you're saying, and we're going to keep an eye on this Cup thing. And if you can find a way to get out here to cover it, because it's in Vegas, you got dinner on me minimum. We'll get in there and we'll watch the games and stuff. So we need Coach on site to cover the NBA Cup for those of you watching. Let's make that happen. Push that for the socials. JY, let's leave on this. You made a very good case for the NBA Cup. And you're talking during the break about the All-Star game. This sounds a little radical. They're talking about changing the NBA All-Star game, which I used to love as a kid. I booked it for years. And by the time I was done booking stuff 4 years ago in the book, I was glad I wasn't doing it no more, because I don't understand it. I don't know the ending, that is, to that, whatever. What is your solution to make the NBA All-Star game great again?
Well, first things first, if I come out to Vegas, you got two of the little consigs out here at Felician College. I could just stay at your place and just crash. A mama consig may not be too appreciative, but you got to talk to her about that person. You don't want anyone just jumping into your house right here.
Wetzel's got first dibs, just for the record. Wetzel's
okay, okay. I'll sleep on the couch. Just don't fall going down the steps. That's the only thing I need you not to do.
I did that once already.
So, but when it comes to the All-Star game, guys, it's very simple. When have we seen players from different teams compete and fight and really go after it?
The Olympics.
The Olympics. So simply put, now the guard play is going to be weak here. USA versus the world. USA versus the world. Give them about and don't give them the money. Give him maybe a $2 million to the winning team, and it's all got to go to charity. If you put USA versus the world and you put it on the line, you think that these guys are going to, and this USA team is going to roll over and just let it happen and win? But then you go on the other side, and you got Jamal Murray, he's not really good right now, but Jamal Murray, and then you put SGA, you put Wemby, you put Gobert, you put the Joker. I mean, you put all these guys together. Sign me up for USA versus the world in an All-Star game, and they used to do it in hockey, right? You do it in hockey a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I think you will get competitive basketball.
Yeah, well, that's the key. You know, you could find the greatest thing in the world. If the guys don't want to play defense, then it doesn't matter what situation you have. So, but would that force them to play defense? Listen, one thing you'd have to do is you'd have to give them some money. The charity thing sounds good, but cash talks. You know, just like your local Louis the Lip. Yeah, I know you like the team, but did you bet it? No. Okay, cash talks. So, I would say no. And I got to tell you. The President's Cup, NBA Cup, whatever the fudge it's called, right? I guarantee you, if Detroit plays Portland in the President's Cup final here, that would be the end of this goopy NBA Cup.
Vegas will be crazy for that.
Wants that. Nobody wants that.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But Sharapan just offered for me to stay at his house. So now you're telling me, Wetzel, if it's Portland and Detroit, that I got to sleep on the streets of Las Vegas? Sharapan.
Vinny's getting us the rooms. We're bringing Vinny too.
Book me a meal. Cardano, I'm booking the flight. Let's go.
Let me tell you, you can get the greatest hotel room for free if that's the matchup because nobody is going to that thing. That would be the end.
If it's free, it's for me.
It's for you. There you go. Good job, Coach.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6'8". Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work!
On the hips, look at that positioning, that's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
He's in trouble! And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Thanks again to Coach James Young, who'll join us every Tuesday, hopefully. Keep our fingers crossed, get some NBA, some college basketball winners from him. Speaking of winners, little black cloud time here on the grid. All right, since this is in-game live, normally we do a black cloud with a game that's yet to begin. You know what? What the fudge. Let's have some fun. Let's do it with a game that's already in progress. Because actually, I thought the game was starting at 9:30, not 8:30, so Eastern time. So it's already underway, but that's okay. We're still going to go under 5.5 now, Anaheim and Chicago. This should have been the line to begin with. Not 6.5. You talk about the boys in Vegas falling asleep at the wheel, Dave. This is it. They're 10 minutes in, 9.5 minutes in, no score. The over-under is still only 5.5. Grab it now before the odds go way up. Why 5.5 under, Scott? Well, you look at these two teams. They're two of the worst offensive teams in the NHL, bar none. They both have 43 goals. That is the second fewest goals in the NHL, both of these two teams. All right, then you throw in the fact that Anaheim, one of the best under teams, since they don't score, you would think so, right? 11-5-1 under. Then you throw in Chicago, another great under team, 10-5-3 under, including 5 straight unders for the Blackhawks. I mean, there's no way in the world this game was ever getting 7 goals. I mean, that is just a mind-bogglingly stupid number. And even now it's 5.5, and you're midway through the first period, no score. Hop on it, folks. There's no way this thing gets to 6 goals.
I can't even make much of an argument against that. And not that I would. I mean, the Black Cloud play of the night has been money for a lot of people. A lot of people start, tune in just for this segment every week. Great job with the graphic. We got to be one of the only shows content-wise, like talking about this game and this total. I'm impressed. I mean, really, this is one of the ones on the board. You're talking about the boys in Vegas making a mistake. Like, the boys in Vegas don't even know that this game's going on because nobody's betting it, right? It's probably one of those situations. Listen, a Tuesday in November with NBA Cup and some other big college basketball games.
Football.
Right. This is Anaheim,
Winnipeg,
Chicago.
Florida. Yeah.
Of the hockey games, this is one of the least handled games of the night. And it's just nothing personal against the teams, but it's Chicago and Anaheim. Both. I can't believe the side. When I saw the number this morning, I went, how is Chicago minus 180 over anybody? Backup goalie, I guess, and Anaheim coming off a win or something. I don't know. My friend Wrong Side Robbie, I call him. He said, yeah, you should probably pay attention to that. All right, well, he told me this morning. So good luck. I think you're right. Well, as long as we don't get a goal in the first period, it's still 0-0, 9 minutes to go. This thing's going to be 4.5 in 5 minutes.
I would think, right? Sometimes the backup goalies, listen, there are times he stinks. I get that. But all these goalies are at least halfway decent. And then sometimes, they change their philosophy, some of these teams. And they say, listen, we're not going to attack quite as much. We got the backup goalie in there. Let's protect him just a little bit more. Go a little conservative. So I'd rather have the starter in there. But it's sometimes not the worst thing in the world to get a backup. And I assume that was the case. One of these two guys, who normally start is probably not, since it was 6.5 and it stayed that way. But that's okay. I mean, Anaheim beat Dallas. Was that last night or 2 nights ago? Right? Yeah, last night. So maybe that's why they're that big of an underdog?
Yeah, it's a back-to-back, which, again, are hard things to quantify. Yeah. And sometimes odds makers make adjustments that, I don't know, are over-adjusted. And they don't get everything right. So this is why, the betting counter exists. This is why betting apps exist. And Cleveland is down 2, by the way, to the Celtics. Ooh. It's 102-100 with 7 minutes to go. Got ourselves a basketball game. Mr. Wetzel, look at that.
I told you. If you grab that 14.5. It's not a bad, the Celtics have a lot of good, what's the word I'm looking for? Good ticks. It's like a poker player, right? The Celtics ticks are bet them.
Tells.
Tells, ticks, whatever. Yeah,
ticks,
those two.
Yeah,
they got those.
Yeah.
So they
first half
you
over.
Bet them first half over.
Right.
You bet them fourth quarter under in a blowout game.
Okay.
And you bet the opposition second half because the Celtics don't play nearly as well second half as they do.
Vinny, are you writing this down? You should be writing this down.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
Knows that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has of getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza on a terrific Tuesday. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for another hour as we check out some winners. Games that are getting underway shortly, games that are already underway. Full slate. Little college football, little college basketball, NBA, hockey as well. So let's bring in our good buddy, Jeff Dawson. You see him here all the time here on the grid. Gracious guest that we have. EastCoastSportsInvestors.com is his website, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. What's going on, Jeff? Full of smorgasbord tonight. So what's on your plates so far tonight?
Well, I've had thank God, I love YouTube. If anyone doesn't have YouTube, you're missing out. You get the nice 4 boxes. I was watching 4 college games. My last layup game with UConn, I got the Huskies on.
Nice.
I was watching 4 college games. They go to Hawaii and play Penny Hardaway in Memphis on Monday. Then they play Maryland Eastern, but then they got like Baylor, Gonzaga, and someone else. So we're going to play some real teams in the next couple of weeks. So I've been watching some college guys.
All right. Well, that leads you to the first play then. We'll switch up the order a little bit, see who's paying attention in the background. Marquette and Purdue. Good basketball game. JY just came on, made his case for Marquette's side. You have an opinion, side or total on this game, JD?
I woke up this morning and absolutely loved Marquette. Overnight number was 2.5, guys. And then I wake up and now it's blossomed to 5, now 5.5 at the Circa. Overnight was at 156. When I sent it to the producer, I said under 153. There were some 153.5s out there right now, only at Bet Online, nowhere locally near you guys. So I like the under. I like Marquette. Good eyes on coach there. I think Marquette will play in that 78 to 80 range, and I think Purdue will be maybe 70. You know, I had this game around 78-70. That's where my eyes were. So, I mean, I would have liked to have gotten the 156 and a hook. I would have loved to got Marquette at 2.5, but I'm not going to lay the 5 or 5.5 though.
That scare you? That line jumped that much?
what we do last year and the year before that, we always bet against Purdue. Everyone bets against Purdue, and Matt Painter. And that's all they did is win, win, and win. No Edie. They're good, though. They are good, but Marquette 4-0 had a nice win against Maryland, and I think they're starting to slowly round into form. They're getting their sea legs. Struggling behind the arc in the 3-ball, but I think it's going to warm up, let's say, and I think it's a real good spot for Marquette tonight.
All right, we got some big NBA games. I mean, not really big NBA games, but they're big spread games. And I asked Jay why about sides there. I know you got maybe a couple props that you want to get out there for the people.
Yeah, as you said, the highlight marquee game was the Celtics against Cavaliers, who were 15-0 or 16-0 going. They're just cruising, and that line blossomed up to around 7 at halftime. Cavaliers made a great run here, but fourth quarter we'll see. I did some props, some points, rebound, and assists. On our spreadsheet here, we had 3 in the green, and Kyrie Irving was over 35.5 points, rebound, and assists. We had him at around 38 today. Trey Jones from the Spurs, over 14.5 points, rebound, and assists. We have him at around 17.5 today. And the biggest one that we had was Colin Sexton from Utah, over 20.5 points, rebound, and assists. We had him projected right around 26.5. Kyrie was even money. Trey Jones was minus 110. The biggest juice that we laid was Colin Sexton at around minus 128.
That's funny because a coach like Sexton's point total. So, and you like, obviously his point total and everything else combined. What is it about Colin Sexton tonight? Just a high scoring game against the Lakers?
Yeah, in a good spot here. Geez, I wish it seems like I had coach's script here, or maybe he had
really.
mine. Good eyes think when I'm on the same size as coach when it comes to basketball, at least I know I'm doing something. It's a good spot. Yeah, there should be some points scored there. And when I do the props in the NBA, I don't know, for me at least, I know a lot of people will do points and assists. I throw in the extra one in case, you're having a bad shooting night. Maybe you got a couple extra assists or a few cheap rebounds. So I find it more beneficial to add all 3 of them together.
The kids love the PRAs, JD. That's fine. Keep doing the PRAs. That's what they call them. They shorten the words for everything. They don't even use words. It's all, abbreviations and slang for everything, bro. How about some hockey? Let's show off, all the tools in the toolbox. I mean, we did college basketball, we did pro basketball, and now we got a pretty big hockey game out west. The Rangers, a short favorite, going to Vancouver. Rangers been playing really good on this little West Coast Canada trip. And you got an opinion here?
I'm going to try to thread the needle here, guys. If I am correct on the stat, and I did get the stat, I heard Gabe talking with Andrew and Cam Stewart a couple nights ago. In the last 10 games, and don't quote me on this, but I'm going to say in the last 10 games, Vancouver's opponent has scored the first goal 9 times. Vancouver has scored the first goal once. At Turka, the over-under for the first period is only 1.5, juiced minus 130. So I'm going here. I lean the Rangers here. So I'm going to get a little cute here, guys. I took the money line in the first period, assuming the Rangers, or hoping the Rangers scored the first goal. Maybe it's 1-0 after one. Shesterkin shuts them out. I was real high on this Vancouver team pre-flop, guys, before the season started. They've been a Jekyll and Hyde so far. A long way to go there. As you see, my Bruins, they had enough with Montgomery. They said, off with your head. Cassidy gets a Stanley Cup after he leaves. So, Monty will get a Stanley Cup ring in a couple of years too. But Rangers first period minus 119.
Good little coaches fired system. Me being a Bruins fan, how do you explain? I mean, the poor guy had 2+ years. I mean, gee, he lost to the team. Went to the Stanley Cup final in Florida the first time, and then he lost to Florida again, obviously. But they won the Stanley Cup, so it's not like he's losing to a bunch of scrub teams here. Hockey is tough, Jeff. It really is.
I think I saw a stat. He was like 79 games over 500. Okay. I mean, they won the President's Cup a few years ago, lost in the first round. They're famous for winning the first round and then bowing out in the second round. I really think, guys, they butchered this when they let Allmark go, and then Swayman held him hostage in the offseason. And then he held out. Then they had to pay him. And it's an aging team. They added a lot of bulk in the back end. McAvoy's not playing well. Marchand's not playing. Pasternak. I mean, it's a team that – here's the downside, guys. Now, Cam Neely and Sweeney got nowhere to hide. They have nowhere to hide. So if they don't make the playoffs, there'll be some big, big changes coming in the offseason upstairs for the Bruins.
Love it.
All right, that would be really. It's just amazing. This team was close to setting the record for the greatest record all time, and the coach 2 years, a year and a half later, gets fired.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah, I mean it's just nuts. Jeff, great job, man. Check out his website for all his other players. EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Thanks, Jeff.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
You say this is a smash, I'm going to run out and smash my button while you talk about Ramondre Stevenson.
I don't think the Bengals defense is one that you should be fearful of. I think they're middle of the pack. They've lost the Bateses and some of those guys over the years that you used to fear. They got a lot of young kids in there who have some talent. But at the same time here, I do expect Ramondre to be a guy that is going to revert back to what he did a couple years ago.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Everyone had him rookie of the year, offensive player of the year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Eberflus coach of the year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be a success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play is there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
This would have been a bet that I would have lost big on in terms of betting on Trevor Lawrence thus far. Because, Vinny, I thought he was an absolute rock-solid, can't-miss first overall pick.
They're underachieving a bit. I mean, I don't think this is the best adjustment team with Doug Peterson. He's not the best adjuster. If everything's kind of falling into place and everyone's executing well and he can just do what they want to do.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in-game live game day here on the grid. Again, thanks, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, for joining us a couple of moments there, giving us some winners, hopefully, if you play his picks. Speaking of picks, let's go back to the NBA board, Dave. The game of the night, minute left, Celtics 114, Cleveland 109. So we're at 223. Got a minute 9 left. I don't know if you're going to get to that 235, 236 total, but it is locked. Celtics just hit a bucket, so they're up 7 with 34 seconds left. I'll update myself. No more lines on that one. Right around the closing figure, they know that's 6.5, 7, 5.5, depending on where when you did your shopping. But does this mean anything as far as, I don't know what you thought about Cleveland beforehand, but barring something crazy here, they are going to lose their first game. Whether they cover the spread or not, don't know, but they are going to lose their first game on the season.
That's going to fall, within one basket of the number. So the odds makers got the number right as far as power rating and different things like that. So it's a little under the total and going to fall, 225, 234 close. I don't know what it means long term. For Cleveland, you got to beat the team above you to get to the finals. So, 15-0 is great. If you can't beat the Celtics, it doesn't mean anything. I used to say it all the time about the Steelers. Didn't matter how good they were in the regular season. They couldn't beat the Patriots when the Patriots had Tom Brady. So there's just times that you see things and you go, okay, are they the second choice in the East? Not even a second choice odds-wise in the East to the Celtics or to the Knicks. That's surprising to me. There's teams like the Magic playing really good basketball, value there in Eastern Conference. Does it mean anything to you? If as a Celtics guy, the Celtics should play like this all the time. No, they win 70 games if they did.
I know. They won't. They won't this year. Here's why people don't take Cleveland seriously. Donovan Mitchell, right? He's by far their best player. He's their main guy. They'll go as far as Donovan Mitchell can take them, right? Now, he's going to finish with a lot of points. He's got 30. So how can I complain about that, right? Well, he's 12 of 27 from the floor, including 2 of 9 from 3. So, he has his 30 points. And he's also minus 17, the worst on the team as far as your plus-minus rating, which I like a lot. So, until this guy proves he can show up in big-time spots and big-time games, I just don't think he's going to be there in the end. And that's really why. You can't count on Evan Mobley and Jared Allen to score 25, 30 points. It's got to be Mitchell. He's got to be the one that plays, not only scores, but plays well. You can't take 5,000 shots like he did tonight. You got to score if you take 27 shots, for goodness sakes.
Volume guy. So that's a volume guy. You don't like that?
No.
I don't know. We got between now and April, we got to find a somewhat serious contender to give the Celtics a challenge.
I don't think there is one in the East. I really don't.
No?
Don't forget, they're playing without arguably their third or second, maybe best player in Porzingis. When they get him back, you got to think like postseason. It's like a baseball series. Best of 7. All right, with that pitching staff, are you really going to beat them? Right? Same thing. When Porzingis comes back, and I'm sure they're going to rest all these guys down the stretch, make sure they're all healthy. That's a tough team to beat. I don't see anybody in the East anyway. Maybe West with Denver or somebody, but I don't think so. Do you?
I don't know. I want to see it. And I think, like we did it all summer, trying to find reasons to pick against the Dodgers, right? And the Dodgers ended up winning, and the way the series went, okay. It didn't happen. And then when it finally got to the end, I really thought, all right, maybe the Yankees have a shot. I don't know. Is there anybody in the West you want right now? If there's no one in the East, is there anybody in the West?
Just because of NB or just because of the Joker, I would take another crack at Denver. They would be the one.
Wow.
I'm not buying into OKC just yet. Although they're playing better this year than I thought. I thought, rather than being the huntee, the hunter,
right.
They're the huntee, but they're still playing well, so I give them credit. But best of 7, best of 3, maybe best of 5. But you're going to beat the Celtics 4 times with an OKC team? Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, there really isn't. There really, Denver, like I said, Denver, just because of the Joker, if he has a monster game, Murray gets a little bit better. So, anyway, got a little more scoring. 14 seconds left, 118-113. Boston's still leading. Nets have taken a 76-69 lead over the Charlotte Hornets. with 4 minutes left to go in the third, laying 4.5 now, 219.5. So right around, both numbers right around where they were to start. Speaking of Denver, they're winning at the half at Memphis without the Joker.
Right.
68-57. Now laying 5.5. We said one of those goofy teams, there's going to be at least one that wins outright, right? Whether it's Denver, New Orleans is down big, or the Jazz.
Spurs,
they're down to,
or the Jazz,
or the Spurs.
I don't know. I can't.
I think it's the Spurs. Without Wembanyama, it can't be the Spurs.
I don't think so. I don't think so. In the college football, Akron's leading Kent State 30-10. 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Central's up 13-0 against Western Michigan at halftime.
Surprised about that one.
And Miami, Ohio's up 10-0 over Northern Illinois. 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Is it me, or is the Tuesday, Wednesday, action, all this other stuff, is it losing a little steam? Well, is it losing? It's losing a little steam for me. It never really was, but I mean, we're in the space. I'm in the industry, so I was paying attention to it. But with this college football playoff stuff now, dominating the conversation, like the Tuesday, Wednesday games to me, not as nearly as important. How about you?
Yeah, you don't need them. I don't know how much the four-letter network is paying these schools. I don't know how much these schools think they're getting as far as just national exposure, but who cares? All these teams stink. So, yeah. And the other thing is the unders. So far, midweek action games, 5-1 under, and we got 2 out of the 3 that are on pace to go under again tonight.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off balanced him a little bit. Take down the head. Right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has of getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round 1 halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. What do we got? 24 past the hour. Scott and Dave for another 35 minutes or so. So it is in. The Boston Celtics do win, but they do not cover. So a little moral victory, I suppose, for the Cleveland Cadavers, who fall to 15-1, first loss on the season. And really, that's not the story. What's funny about it, Dave, is the game ends up going over. How is that possible, considering we gave you the score before, right? 120, 117. They score 16 points in the final minute 12. They scored 10 in the final 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that in college, right? You don't generally see that in the NBA. College, that goofy stuff that happen all the time. But NBA, no. But, wow. If you had the under, that's a bad beat. That's a bad beat.
It's a tough one. Celtics win, Cavs cover. I mean, this is why when I keep this stuff close by to wear and put on, and this is a perfect thing for the book. It falls right in the middle. The number's good. Give the boys in Vegas a pat on the back. You had the right number.
Yeah.
So, listen, I think the Cavs are closer than people think. I think the Cavs are closer. They're going to give them a series to win the home games, and then, this thing comes down. Let's just it's November 19th. I don't want this to be decided already. That's not good for business. We need drama. We need possibilities. We need excitement, alternatives. Can't just be one team. Like, look at the NFL. The Bills beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs.
Yeah, it was good.
Right? I mean,
business.
we're open for business. And, the Steelers beat the Ravens. Didn't score a touchdown. Won the game. The AFC's a little top-heavy. The playoff picture's already decided. That's fine. But we need that a little more in the NBA. That's all I'm saying.
Minute 12 left. Let me run it down for you. Minute 12 left. Celtics lead 114-107. So 7 points, minute 12. It's still a game, right? Over under 235, 236 and a half, we'll just say, just for blanks and giggles, right? So you need 16 points. Jason Tatum throws the ball out of bounds. Thank you very much, Jason. Donovan Mitchell, there's our boy, driving layup, 114-109. Goes all the way down to 46 seconds.
Yes.
So they took 20-plus seconds off the clock. Jaylen Brown with a layup. All right, 116-109, back up to 7, 40 seconds left. Ball game's over, right?
No.
Jaylen Brown, for whatever reason, decides to foul Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
He makes one of two. Mitchell, so now it's 116-110. So you still need 11 points now with 34 seconds left. Not happening.
Okay.
It's not happening.
No.
Mitchell fouls Jaylen Brown, who misses a free throw. Hits one of two. Missed one. All right.
Yeah.
So now you're at the 117-110. Need 10 points, 30 seconds. Not happening.
Right.
There's our boy again, Donovan Mitchell, getting hot here when the game is over. Three-pointer. Now it's 117-113. Ball game back on again. They foul. Tatum with 20 seconds left. Tatum makes one of two. Now you're starting. I remember these like it was yesterday. I remember this day. Sitting in my living room upstairs, and I'm keeping track. And now I'm starting to get worried. Now, right? Now I'm starting to do the calculations in my brain. So now we're at 118-113. Still need 6 points in 20 seconds, but Donovan Mitchell, thank you very much, Jason Tatum. It happens to be the same two guys. Again, fouls, up 6 fouls. Donovan Mitchell. Why? 14 seconds left. What are you doing?
He was going for the ball. I mean, if you saw it, I was watching it. They went for the ball and collided, and he hit him in the mouth. It had to be called. It was a foul.
118-115.
Yeah.
Now you're really sweating. Al Horford makes a dunk. I don't know how that's possible with 8 seconds left. Now you're back up to 120-115. You got one shot.
Over. Right there.
Should have been all ball game over. Just dribble out the clock, Cleveland. Game's over. You're not winning. You're down 5, right? What happens?
Yep. Made it.
Ty Jerome, 14-foot bank shot, no less, at the buzzer. 120-117. Overhead.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off-balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has of getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Hender's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing tons of from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Let's check out the hockey board here. It's amazing. We kind of laugh at, I didn't necessarily have a dog in a fight with the Cleveland game, although I did have the cadavers, so, but they were going to cover. But, we're kind of making fun of it. You're never out of it when you bet the over, right? You're just never out of it. That's the perfect example. Hockey, we got 3 minutes left to go in the first period. No score, Chicago and Anaheim. Right,
And?
3 minutes left. And what happens? These two dopey teams, two of the worst offensive teams in the history of the sport, both score. Final 3 minutes, and we got 1-1 after one. Unbelievable. It's hard betting under. It's just hard. That's why people don't bet unders, Dave, right? If 10 people, well, let's say 100, make it easier for you. If 100 people were betting over-unders in any sport, what do you think the percentage would be? I bet it's 65-35 over.
There's an 80-20 rule in life. There's an 80-20 rule in life, and it applies to the over-under betting. It's got to be 80 overs to the 20 unders. I'm telling you, just from sitting in a book and being on the side of it for as long as I have, people don't like to bet.
Yeah.
They don't like to bet under. I learned it very young. I mean, I like defense, and it was like, oh, they're not going to score that many points. So I'm always looking to the unders. And certain sports run different ways, right? I know adjusting the numbers with the totals is one of the really skilled parts of the profession. And you have to figure out a way to get it so people might actually bet you under. So a lot of times you see higher totals sometimes in certain sports. I mean, the NBA right now is a score fest. It feels like it, Right. I remember I was last year or the year before when you just like at the beginning of the season blindly bet the board on totals in the NBA because the numbers were over adjusted. It eventually catches up. But I mean, if you're talking like NFL on a Sunday, 100 people walk in to bet a total, 78 or more are betting over.
Wow. That's amazing. Right?
I think.
It's amazing. So it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just, I think that's part of it. You just, especially with overtime, you just never out of it with an over. It could be pick a sport. You could be so far off, but with the ability of overtime, you always have that last little chip in your back pocket. Or in hockey, you get goals. When you see it's funny when you see a 6-5 game, and then I always kind of look at the scoreboard and see when the goals came, and you see, okay, goal came at the 3-minute mark, and another one at the 6.5-minute mark, and then another one at the 10.5-minute mark. And then one at the 13.5, and and happens every 3 minutes. You're like, okay, yeah, you can see that happening. I get it. 3.5 minutes is like 20 times up and down the ice. You know what I mean? So,
right.
You just you're never out of it.
The hockey's interesting because they can come so fast. Like we'll be the goals can come very quickly. So you'll have a 1-1 game, and it'll be, I don't know, the end game will go down to 4.5 and then 3.5, where you're like, oh, this game's going to finish 2-1. And then if the box scores 5-1, when you go to the third period, there's 2 goals, and then there's 2 empty netters. Like they left them out for too long. I saw it the other night. I was watching the games when I went to the Knights game last week. The game was a dead under. And the referee called a penalty on Carolina in a 5-1 game with 1:12 to go. And the whole section, including myself, was cheering because I was sitting with guys that all had the over. And they were like, hey, way to call power play, way to call penalty, good job, ref. Power play goal with 12 seconds left. Power play goal with 12 seconds left. And it went over.
You never see that.
Final.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
But the guy, and he had to call a penalty. He did a good job. It took away a scoring chance in front. So he called the penalty. So, yeah, the hockey goals can come quick. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, it's funny. No score, final minute, first period, Islanders in Calgary. Calgary had a nice 9-1 under run. Islanders are a pretty strong over team. But, yeah, I like the under. It's down to 4.5 on that one. And then St. Louis and Minnesota, 1-1. I told you about the Wild. Give it the fewest goals in the league. That was only 5.5 to start. You got 2 goals, but you're after 2. Still giving you, percentage-wise, at 4.5 is still a pretty good number. I mean, I don't know if you're going to get 3 goals in the third period. Unless that's after 1. No, that started it. It's got to be after. Well,
no,
let me double check.
1-1. Minnesota and St. Louis is after 2, yeah. Second period. Oh, jeez.
So I like the under there.
Oh, Tampa Bay just beat the Penguins in overtime.
Wow.
The Penguins they were winning the whole game. They were leading 2-0, and yeah, everything's going bad quickly in Pittsburgh. I was gonna text Casey, who's you've done shows now with Casey and stuff. She's a big Lightning fan, and obviously I'm trying to be a Penguins fan, but my goodness, they just can't win. Woo! It's gonna be a rough season there. Good win by the Lightning. How you talk about coming back? Would they get 3 goals in the third? Was that 3 goals in the third? 2 in the third and 1 in overtime.
2 in the overtime. Yeah. I'm holding on. I got under 6.5 Edmonton, Ottawa, 5-1. 2.5 minutes left. Ottawa wouldn't pull a goalie down 4, right? They wouldn't be that stupid.
I saw it the other night. They'll do it.
Really?
I don't think so, but I mean, some coaches are. I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I think you'll be safe. You need
that was 4-1.
Yeah.
That was 4-1 after not after 2, but like early second period. So I'm if I get that winner, didn't really count on that one. Winnipeg scored, but then so did Florida. So 3-1 now. There's another example. It's 2-0 for the longest time. I get 2 goals in about a minute and a half, and all of a sudden now it's 3-1 after 2, or final second anyway.
I love it.
Holding on.
I love it. It's like a 3-run homer in baseball, right? The hockey and the baseball parallels are a lot. I think moneyline sports and lesser runs being scored, lesser goals being scored in the games. There's a lot of parallels that you can draw, and I think people, when you look at the in-game betting or you look at the way the numbers move and work, there's a lot of rhythm that works in conjunction with that. I mean, obviously the hockey goalie is everything. And a guy can make 44 saves in a game where the team is outshot by 20 and they can win. So, I mean, I guess if one pitcher pitches great and gets 10 to 12 strikeouts and goes 7 or 8 innings or hands a game off to a bullpen, then they can win there. I don't know. Those are like, this is what we're going to do now for the next like 3 to 6 months. I think the hockey betting provides so much value in different spots, right?
Yeah. So many comebacks. The fluctuations with the point with the odds, the money line is just crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. We're 1-goal games. So college hoops, Marquette leads Purdue early on. Well, not really that early, but 28-19, 4.5, almost 5 minutes left to go in the first half. 8.5 now is the number. Over under down a little bit, 146.5. That was right around 153.5.
Yeah. While we were making the run in the baseball, we used the goal horn all the time. I don't know if Vinny has it handy. If he does, he needs to play it because Edmonton. I just wanted to let you know. Before we go to the commercial and celebrate how good the opposite picks segment has been doing. There's been a goal scored in Edmonton and Ottawa. It is now 5-2. I just
thinking Ottawa Senators. If I find out that this dopey team pulled the goalie down 4 goals, I mean,
no, Ottawa scored 5-2.
Yeah, I know, but still, why?
Your main event, Tale of the Tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
Knows that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off-balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has of getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round 1 halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
All right, welcome back to In Game Live. Game day here on the grid. Just realized we had not one but 2 backup goalies playing in the Chicago-Anaheim game. Although Gibson, he's been around the league a long time for Anaheim, but he's not the starter. So 2-1, Blackhawks scored again. This guy Dickinson, who no one ever's heard of, he gets his 3rd and 4th goals. All of a sudden, he's turned into Wayne Gretzky here right before our eyes. Thanks for nothing. So 2-1, 13 minutes left. I thought it would be 2-1 final. So it looks like it's going to be, 3-2, 4 minutes left. We're going to have to sweat this out. Or maybe 4-2, and you have to survive an empty net situation. But, all right, we're still in it. We're still in it. No score Calgary and the Islanders. That's good. See the story about the Islander? Who was off with a concussion, right? So he's missed several games, but he had to go a bunch of tests, the concussion. They find out the dude's got an issue with his heart. And now he's going to, he'll be out for probably the rest of the season, I imagine. But may have saved his life. Yeah, with all the tests that they had to do. Mike Riley, the defenseman.
Okay.
So just it's weird how things work out, right? It's a blessing in disguise. The guy's got a concussion. Yeah.
Believe me, it's crazy how all of it works. I'm living proof of it. I'm very, very blessed and lucky that I was home in the situation that I had, and they ended up finding out that I have AFib, but I had to have a stroke to find that out. And so now, it's a different, a different just view of life. So, well wishes to him. Hockey will take a back seat. That'll be good. What can't take a back seat, though, is we got this unbelievable graphic done because we do this unbelievable segment every Friday. And I know you don't like to toot your own horn, so I'll toot it for you. All right? This opposite pick segment is real. Every week. You did an 8-pack this week, Wetzel. Why did you do an extra game? I forgot to even ask you that on Friday.
There's some weeks it's 7, some weeks, you kind of whittle it down time-wise, and I just really liked all these games so much. There's so many more trends now this time of the year. It's tougher to limit yourself versus the beginning of the year when you really don't know how teams are. So, and honestly, I kind of forgot about Kansas and BYU because that game started like that. It was the last game on the board. And I was like, man, I just love BYU. I cannot possibly not have BYU in there. So I just said, all right, I'm going to just write another one, and I'll try and read it a little faster. So we did 8. Do that every once in a while. Started off awful. Started off 0-3. So, those that played were a little, I'm sure, shaken. And then we rattled off 5 straight winners and finished 5-3. Now, I think it's 17 games. There you go, over 500 by going opposite this year. It's amazing. Just amazing.
It's really hard to do. And I mean, like you said, we've got a nice sample size. It's 7 or 8 games a week. It's every Friday. Hopefully, more and more people will watch it. We only got a couple weeks left of it, right? Of college football. There's only a couple more college football Fridays that you can even do it. So was there anyone on there that really surprised you?
With the playoffs, we get the 2 more regular season games, then some bowl games. We could push this through for a little while, but if not, we'll go to college basketball. But go ahead.
We'll have to. But no, was there any one of those that really surprised you? Like you're just like, man, I can't believe that one actually came in.
I've got my earphones here clicking out.
Air Force, Utah State.
The surprise, Air Force. Air Force. They had 1 win this year. They beat 2 wins, but one was against Merrimack. And then the team they were facing there was trying to become bowl eligible with 2 victories. I mean, I did not see, and they got blown out, or they blew out the team. So I didn't see that. Yeah, that one. The coach's fired system, but I do like that. I did play that, so I'm not surprised about Kennesaw State, winning. But the BYU one, and you see how they lost the game? I mean, it was early fourth quarter, but there was a pooch punt. They're leading. Kid does a pooch punt, and it ricochets off the BYU player's head, literally. And Kansas recovers right around the 10-yard line. They punch it in a play or two later. And even though BYU still had almost a whole quarter, they couldn't score. So that's how they lost that football game.
I just had to look up who Oregon State or Air Force played. They played Oregon State. I couldn't even remember. Right. Me neither. There's so many games.
So many.
Right. It was Oregon State, and between that one and the BYU one was. Look, there's a lot of people that want to see BYU lose this week too to Arizona State. Then they can stop talking about BYU making the playoff. Right. That'll be the end of them. So it's a good pick. When does the preparation start for the opposite pick segment? I mean, is it tomorrow? Is it Thursday? Because you don't want to get too many things in advance. I'm just trying to get a window. If people ask me all the time, how does Wetzel come up with this stuff? So I'm going to ask you, when does it
There
start?
is a system.
I know,
there is a
believe me.
system.
100%.
What I try and do is my initial thoughts before I do any of the research and all this other stuff. I don't do the research and say, I really like this team. I really don't. I know college football. So I look at the lines. I'll probably look at them tonight. And I won't pick 7. I'll probably pick like 10 to 15 that I like. Boy, I like them. I like them. I like them. I like them. And then I'll start doing some research Thursday because I'm off Thursday. Put it all together Thursday night for the most part. And then that's how I do it. But it's the initial reaction, and that's what losers do. I mean, that's why you lose, right? What do? You open up a newspaper. I like this team, that team, right? They give me all those without really thinking, without doing any research. And those are the ones I generally go to. So I whittle it down. I'm like the NFL Hall of Fame committee. I'll whittle it to about 15. Then I'll go to 10. Then I'll go to the Super 7. Yeah.
See, I mean, like this is a good window into how this is done. A lot of people will do the research and try to justify the pick. You do the other way. You look down at the games and the lines and look at the picks and then just try to find the research that either backs up or makes you – do you ever find the research that gets you off a game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. I'll see a team, whatever, and then I start looking into it, to kind of do my little story. Then I realize, okay, that's why they're a favorite, or that's why they're an underdog. I get it now, so then I'll hop off of it. Absolutely, yeah. But it's that. I will say, it's more times than not, it's the initial reaction. I challenge anyone to do it. Do it, and I'm telling you, you're going to win. You really will, believe it or not. All right, we'll close up shop next.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
That lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Brandon Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round 1 halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work!
Look at that positioning, that's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game on the grid. I got a few more minutes here, Dave, and I got to get your reaction. We're talking a little football here. We'll check out the numbers here one more time before we're through. But your thoughts on the Jets today? I'm getting back into a little Twitter war with some people. They all want to blame the owner for the Jets, not winning a Super Bowl since 1969. Meanwhile, they've had a couple of different owners, but Jets firing their GM today, Joe Douglas. How about that? What a mess that situation is.
I mean, it's been the gift that has kept on giving, at least in the sports book. I mean, the Jets have just continued to be favored week after week after week. And it's been kind of nice just picking against them and betting against them and getting to the window. As far as what's going on, I mean, it's way above my pay grade, but you see it. I mean, they fired Salo, right? And they're 1-5 since. And they fired the GM on a bye week. Like, what in the hell is going on there? Like, something actually has to really be not good, just in general, where they said, you know what, everybody's off for a few days. It's a bye week. Fire the guy upstairs in the office. Tell him, I know it's the last year of his contract. We don't even want him to come in anymore because something is going on. I don't know. I've been in places where they have deals like that, where they tell someone, you know what, we don't need you 2 weeks notice. You can go right now. Like, just you're out, go. I don't know. The Bills are going to win that division. If you'd have told me before the season that the Jets would finish last behind the Patriots, I probably wouldn't have believed you. They got Aaron Rodgers.
It's amazing.
They got Devontae Adams. They got all these guys. They got the same number of wins. They're 3-8.
Crazy. They had a better record last year at this point, 4-7 with Zach Wilson. I mean, it's fun. It really is amazing how the numbers are better last season. I don't know why they're blaming the owner, though. Listen, I don't have a dog in a fight. I'm laughing. I'm a Dolphin fan, right? So I hate the Jets. I get that. So they're on Twitter. They're all like going back and forth here. Like, what are you blaming the owner for? The owner has done everything the GM wanted him to do. You know, he bought into that nonsense with Aaron Rodgers, buys into getting Devontae Adams, buys into bringing Robert Slaw in there. I mean, he's done everything you asked of him. I think the Jet fan is just tired of blaming the players and the coaches and the GMs, so they have to matriculate the ball down the field, as Hank Stram once said. All right, who else are we going to attack now? Let's blame the owner. The owner's spending the money. You don't have an owner that's cheap. You don't have an owner that's not trying. So I don't get this year aside, firing 5 weeks into the season. I get that. That's stupid. But this, otherwise, what are you blaming the owner for?
So you're defending the owner? Is that what you're doing on the Twitter? I'm trying to understand this beef that you're having. So
I'm defending the owner. The Jet fans are saying blame the owner.
Would you defend Jerry Jones? Would you defend Jerry Jones then?
No, because he's not spending money. He didn't go get Derrick Henry. He did spend money stupidly by re-signing Dak Prescott. So he didn't do anything to help his club. The Jet owner did. You may not like his choices, but
that's the thing. You would defend.
See, the New York fan is really like this. The sports fan, you get an owner that's hands-on like Jerry Jones, and you're ripping Jerry Jones. Oh, just hire a GM. Let him do what he wants to do, right? Okay. Right. Well, that's what the Jets did. Jets did that with Joe Douglas, and they let him do whatever the hell he wanted to do, and it's not successful. So now you're blaming the owner. Which one is it? What do you want the owner to do? Be on the side or be active? Pick one.
I mean, obviously they just want the team to win. It doesn't matter, right? As long as they win, it doesn't matter. I don't know, the blame game thing. It never works. It doesn't matter. All you need to do is win. If you're an owner who sits back and let the football people, do things. I mean, kind of like they do in Pittsburgh. The same family has owned the Steelers. The Rooney family's owned the Steelers for 100 years. I mean, they kind of sit back and they let it all happen. It works. Other owners want to be more hands-on. I don't know. I don't think there's one way or another. I don't want you fighting with people on Twitter. You got to relax. Like, don't
we got Cam doing that. How about this? Are the Dallas Cowgirls – don't bring that up. Are the Cowgirls over-under is 5.5. They have 2 wins. Are they going to get 3 wins? Are they going to get 3 more wins the rest of the season?
No.
Cooper Rush is quarterback?
I don't think so.
Love
that was bad last night. They can't stop the run. They can't do anything. We'll be back tomorrow to talk it.
Yep. Under Blackhawks Anaheim. Let's go back up goaltenders.